This is one of those ACT problems that can be very quick if you know your trigonometric identities, or it might not be quick if you don't know them. I put two very important ones over here on the right side. The Pythagorean identity, you really ought to know it going into any standardized test. It will probably be on there once. Sine squared plus cosine squared equals 1. It doesn't matter what the angle is. And you can see that appears right over here. Now, if you were to play around with this equation on the right and you say, okay, if sine squared plus cosine squared equals 1, then that means sine squared equals 1 minus cosine squared. You can see how that would get to this for just regular old sine. Okay, so that is equal to cosine. What we're looking, or is equal to sine. What we're looking for is something that does not equal sine. So we can move on. We didn't need to prove this in detail. The next example of an identity that you might want to familiarize yourself with is called the cofunction identity. The cosine of 90 degrees minus an angle is the same as sine of that angle. Now, unfortunately, that doesn't really show up in this case. If you happen to be good at graphing trigonometric functions, that would be around it, and we could have a longer discussion of how to reason our way through this with graphs. But what I want to suggest to you is you can make it through this problem just fine by guessing. And I'll give you an example of what I mean. What if x equals 0 degrees? Do you know your special angles? You really ought to. So this is going to be negative cosine of, let's see, 270 degrees. Okay. Now, if you know your special angles, let's see. Do I know my special angles? That's okay. So I got to draw a unit circle here to think this through. 270 degrees is down here. Cosine is 0. So this is going to be equal to 0. Well, that's the same thing as sine of 0 degrees. That's what we said x was equal to, right? So I think this one's okay. That one is equal to sine x. Let's try this next one. Negative cosine of 360 degrees minus 0, because that's what we're saying x is, remember? We're just doing a test here, x equals 0. So what's cosine of 360 degrees? Well, cosine 360 is over here. So the cosine of 360 is 1. That means this is going to be negative 1. Okay? Now that is not equal to sine of 0 degrees. So you see how I went through that with the reasoning. I know my special angles very well based on the unit circle, and you really should too. If you're going to go into a standardized test that has trigonometry on it, you will see special angles. The Pythagorean identity, the cofunction identity, those can come in handy. Graphing sines and cosines, that can come in handy. But if you happen to forget those, it's okay as long as you remember your special angles. If you forget your special angles, you're really out of luck. So you got to make sure you study those things, and you can guess your way through a problem like this.